Isang magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Ang i-review ko sa inyo ay tungkol sa child and adolescent development. So, simulan natin ngayon sa the Learner-Centered Psychological Principles o yung tinatawag nilang LCP Principles. Okay. So, yung LCP Principles was put together by the American Psychological Association or APA. So, maybe medyo kilala niyo yung salitang APA, yung acronym na APA. Nagagamit natin sa research, di ba? Okay, so these principles focuses on psychological factors that are primarily internal. So more on within, more on internal, or more on dun sa concept ng ating pag-iisip. So it is intended to deal holistically with learners. So pag sinabi natin holistically, with all the aspects of the learners, diba? Andiyan yung physical, intellectual, emotional, social, okay? Then, the aim also is what? It is intended to apply to all learners. So, nandun tayo sa konsepto ng inclusive education. So, itong principles na to ay para sa lahat. Then, the LCP principles was divided into 4 factors or into 4 aspects. So, we have the cognitive and metacognitive, that is 6 factors. Then, we have also motivational and affective, that is 3 factors. And then, the developmental and social, 2 factors. And then, the individual differences, 3 factors. So, dito natin makikita, based on the 4 factors, yung sinasabi kanina na intended to deal holistically with learners. Kasi nandun yung cognitive, motivational and affective, nandun yung yung emotion. How about development? Developmental, more on the physical body. Then how about social? Pakikisalamuha. And as well, the individual differences. So simulan natin sa number 1, which is the cognitive and metacognitive. So under sa cognitive and metacognitive is the nature of the learning process. So as you can see, merong babae dito, meron siyang tina-target. Anong tina-target niya? Yung bullseye. Okay, so ano ba yung concept ng nature of the learning process? The learning of a complex subject matter is most effective when it is an intentional process of constructing meaning from information and experience. So I highlighted the word intentional. Okay, what do you mean by intentional? Okay, sa paggawa ng lesson plan, nasa ba yung intentional? Nasa objectives. And also, as well, itong babae nakikita niyo sa picture, ano ba ang intention niya? Not just to fire the arrow, okay, but rather, hindi lang niya basta i-release yung arrow, but as well, yung bow ng arrow, but as well, what? Mahit niya yung target. So, in other words, class, pumapasok tayo saan? Sa konsepto ng we should share the learning objectives to our students. That is the very first thing that we should do in teaching for the students to learn. Share them the lesson objectives. In that way, the shared lesson objectives will become what? The intention of the students. Okay? So, kapag ka nagbigahagi ka ng lesson objective sa kanila, yun yung magiging intention nila for the day. Ito yung dapat kong i-accomplish. So, pagka nag-sink in yun sa bata, yung bata ngayon, nagkaroon na ngayon intention. Pero kung halimbawa, hindi mo i-share yung lesson objectives, sabi nga ng bata, anong gagawin ko? Wala. Sabi lang ni teacher, makinig. So, hindi nagiging intentional yung learning ng bata. Ang aim lang niya is what? Matapos yung oras ng teacher. But rather, kung mag-share tayo ng lesson objectives, may objective ang bata. May intention siya. So, yun yung number 1. Pangalawa, the goals of the learning process. Sabi nga natin, may intention eh. Kung titingnan natin yung lesson objectives natin sa lesson plan, at the end of the lesson, the students are expected to, or the learners are expected to. Pag sinabi natin expected, we're expecting what? That the students will be able to what? To accomplish those objectives. Diba? So that is the goal of the learning process. Yung intentional na meron tayo sa number 1, our aim in number 2 is what? To accomplish that. So sabi nga dito, the successful learner over time and with support instructional guidance can create meaningful, coherent representations of knowledge. So pag sinabi natin successful learner, paano ka ba naging successful if you accomplish the objective? Nasa na objective? Nasa number 1. Diba? Okay, so that is the goal of the learning process. May kinalaman sa intentional. That the intention of the student should be accomplished for them to be called a successful learner or successful learners. The number 3, paano ba magiging successful ang learner? Paano niya yun ma-achieve? Okay, kailangan natin ng construction of knowledge. Okay, kung mapapansin natin, there is a bridge. Okay, di ba? So, alam naman natin yung purpose ng tulay. Katulad nito, dalawang magkalayong isla, syempre, di mo naman mararating yan, di ba? Otherwise, meron ka barko. Kung wala, di mo mararating, di ba? So, anong kailangan natin? Tulay. Di ba? Mula doon sa isang point, mula sa original point mo, papunta doon sa kabilang point. Di ba? Okay. So, sabi dito, the successful learner can link new information with existing knowledge in meaningful ways. So, hinighlight ko yung word na link. Pag sinabi nating link is what? Relating. Ano yung nire-relate natin? yung ating existing knowledge. When we say existing knowledge, that is our prior knowledge. So, ano sinasabi natin dito? Sa constructivism class, di ba, ang konsepto is, the students, okay, are the ones who do the learning using their prior knowledge. So, ang aim natin dito is, sisiguraduhin natin na estudyante natin, bago pumasok sa klase, meron na siyang prior knowledge. Relating to sa topic, na yung topic na may objectives, yun yung number 1. Na ang aim ng number 2, the goal is to achieve. So, anong gagamitin ng bata para magawa niya yung 1 and 2 to accomplish number 1, to become a successful learner sa number 2? And that is his or her prior knowledge. If you still remember yung ginagamit natin na entry pass and exit pass, particularly the entry pass, that is your prior knowledge. Na pagpasok ng estudyante, meron siyang prior knowledge. Kasi yung prior knowledge na yan, ang ginagamit ng estudyante to create new knowledge. Base dun sa topic. So, kaya sabi nga dito, we use our prior knowledge to create new information. Kaya pagka nagtuturo din si teacher, aside from using the entry pass, pwede din natin gamitin yung review of the past lesson. But before we start the topic for the day, ang gagawin natin is what? We're going to review what we have discussed yesterday. Diba? Kasi the concepts that we have discussed yesterday is something related doon sa topic for today na magagamit ng bata para mas lalo niyang maunawaan yung topic for today. Kasi yung topic for the day is merong objective sa number 1. And the goal of number 2 is what? To accomplish that. To become a successful learner. Then, number 4, syempre pag may aim tayo, the aim is what? To be a successful learner, to accomplish the lesson objectives, kailangan natin ng strategic thinking. When we say strategic thinking, sabi dito, the successful learner can create and use a repertoire of thinking and reasoning strategies to achieve complex learning goals. So, I highlighted the words create and use. So, since we have prior knowledge, we're going to create what? A strategy. In order for us to accomplish the objectives given in number 1. Because the aim in number 2 is what? To become a successful learner. Diba? How can we do that? Because we have our prior knowledge. And because we have prior knowledge, okay, we can create and use a strategy. Diba? So, when you created the strategy, ano gagawin natin doon? Dapat gamitin natin. Kaya nga sabi, use. And what happened if the strategy you created and the strategy you used, hindi nagtagumpay? So, gagamitin natin is what? Another strategic thinking. We're going to create what? Another one. Okay, so that is strategic thinking. Then, in number 5, this is what we call thinking about thinking. And that is the definition of metacognition. Okay, it's what we call higher order strategies, selecting and monitoring mental operations, facilitate creative and critical thinking. Actually, related yung number 4 and number 5. In number 4, we're going to create and use a strategy. Why? Kasi there's an intentional in number 1. Because the goal in number 2 is to become a successful. How can we do strategic thinking? Because we have prior knowledge. Pero sabi ko nga kanina, kapag yung strategy hindi nag-take effect, hindi naging effective, ano gagawin natin? That's the time we're going to have thinking about thinking. Yung ginawa ko number 1, hindi nag-materialize. So what we're going to do is what? Because we have thinking about thinking, we're able to what? To have a higher order strategies. Pipili tayo ng something na tawag dito a strategy na kung saan magagamit natin na magiging effective para ma-accomplish natin yung target natin. Yun ang kagandahan, class, kapag nag-share ka ng objective sa bata. Pipili siya ng mga strategy o gagawa siya. Unlike kung wala kang sinasabing strategy, ba't siya maghihirap mag-isip? Kailangan naman sinasabing i-accomplish, di ba? Okay, and then the last one is the context of learning. As we all know, alam naman natin na environment ay nakaka-apekto saan sa learning. Kapag ka maingay, mahirap mag-aral. Pero kung tahimik, malamig, maganda surrounding, masarap mag-aral. So sabi dito, learning is influenced by what? The environmental factors, including the culture. Diba? And as well, the technology and the instructional practices. O katulad ngayon, diba? Ang learning nakaka-apekto talaga. Why? Kasi ang environment nakaka-apekto talaga sa particularly the technology. Kasi kung wala kang internet, naka-RPL ka, ang hirap mag-aral. Unlike kung ikaw ay merong internet, may technology ka, may laptop ka, may cellphone, smartphone ka, mapapanood mo si teacher habang nagdi-discuss. Diba? So dito sinasabi sa context of learning, ito yung environmental factors that affects learning. And alam natin, totoo yun. Okay? Then, how about motivational and affective? Okay? So under number 7, motivational and emotional influences of learning. As you can see, kamusta naman yung classroom nila? Wala ngang kisame eh. Kamusta yung damit ng mga estudyante? Warat-warat yung mga damit, hindi ba? Ni wala nga armrest. Pero kung mapapansin mo yung bata, kamusta? Pansinin nyo kung paano siya tumitig dun sa teacher o dun sa tinuturo ni teacher. Ito lang yung masasabi natin na motivated siyang mag-aral. Sabi dito, motivation to learn in turn is influenced by individuals' emotional states, beliefs, interests, and goals and habits of thinking. So, saan nag-start ang motivation? Sa emotion ng isang tao. Regarding what? Emotion niya, for example, halimbawa sa kanyang beliefs. Mapapansin natin sa mga batang ito, ano yung emotional beliefs na meron sila? Na kailangan nila ng education kasi yun ang malaking makatutulong sa kanila para sila ay makapagtapos at magkaroon ng magandang buhay. In that way, because of that emotion, yun yung nagtutulak para sila ay ma-motivate lalo. Diba? Kaya meron sa atin, diba? Hindi ka bibigyan ng nanay mo ng pera. Okay lang, nay. Maglalakad na lang ako papuntang school. Magbabike na lang ako. Wala akong pambaon sa iyo. Okay lang, nay. Kung ano yung ulam natin kaninang tanghali, yun na lang yung babuunin ko yun ng merienda ko. Kasi, yun ang nangyayari kasi kapag meron kang emotional belief or interest or habits of thinking, then, yun yung magtutulak ngayon sa emotions, sa motivations mo. Then, sa number 8, anong particular na uri ng motivation? Kasi alam natin, may dalawang uri ng motivation. We have the extrinsic and we have the intrinsic motivation. So nga lang, sa number 8, intrinsic motivation to learn. Intrinsic motivation is stimulated by tasks of optimal novelty and difficulty, relevant to personal interest and providing for choice and control. So yung nagpupursue, for example, katulad ni Ms. Arlandes. Gamitin ko na po kay Ms. Arlandes as example, di ba? Meron siyang, kumbaga, in terms of edad, hindi siya bata. 'Di ba? Hindi siya teenager. Pero ano yung nagtutulak sa kanya para magtapos ng pag-aaral kahit sabihin natin nanay na siya nag-aaral pa rin. At karamihan sa mga BEd ay maraming mga nanay. Hindi ba? It's this what we call intrinsic motivation. Internal feeling nila yun Internal emotions nila yun na nagpupursue na dahil intrinsic motivation yon, nagagaling sa kanila yon, wapakel sila sa sinasabi ng ibang tao. Ang aim nila is what? Ma-achieve nila yung kanilang target, yung kanilang dream. Okay, which is to become a teacher. Diba? Kaya napaka-importante, class, na kung gagamit din tayo ng motivation, ang gamitin na natin, intrinsic motivation to learn. Okay? Pero may i-discuss pa ako sa facilitating naman na hindi ka agad intrinsic, mag-i-start yan muna sa extrinsic. Okay? Pero hindi ito yung subject para i-discuss natin yon. Then number 9, kapag ano ang mangyayari kapag ang isang estudyante o isang tao ay merong intrinsic motivation? Ito yung nagiging effects. Okay, katulad niyan. Kung kayo takutin, ano ba yung mag-aaral ako, tapos tatawid pa ako dyan, paano ko may buwaya? Paano ko malunod ako? Hindi na ako mag-aaral. Yun yung mga tao na walang intrinsic motivation to learn. Pero itong mga bata na to, they have the intrinsic motivation to learn. And ano yung epekto sa kanila? The willingness to exert what? Effort. Ito, extra effort. Extra miles ang kanilang ginagawa. Ano to? Tawag dito, buhay ang kanilang nakataya. Buhay para sa edukasyon. 'Di ba? Ito ang nagiging epekto ng motivation sa mga bata o sa tao kapag meron tayong intrinsic motivation to learn. Then number 10, how about developmental and social? Learning is most effective when differential development. When you say differential development, it's sabi nga dito, within across the physical, intellectual, emotional, and social domain. Okay. So sinasabi natin dito, pag sinabi natin differential development, yung different aspects ng isang tao. We have the emotional, the cognitive, social, and physical. Dapat tinitingnan din natin lahat yan. Kasi related yan sa isang tao. Halimbawa, tuturuan mo kaagad si batang mag-algebra, ang bata-bata pa niya. Hindi pa niya yung maiisip. So, titino mo ngayon yung differential development. Diba? Bata-bata pa, bigla mo siyang patatakbuhin ng ganito kalayo, hindi rin niya kakayanin yun. So, dapat, tinitingnan natin, kamusta ba yung physical niya? Kamusta din naman yung pag-iisip niya? Kakayanin ba niya? So, dapat ganun tayo. Dapat tinitingnan natin yung plus binabalanse natin. Okay? Then, how about 11? Social influences on learning. So, learning is influenced by social interaction, interpersonal relations, and communication with others. So, ano na sinasabi dito? We learn from different people. We learn through socialization. O, di ba? Sa loob ng classroom, nagtuturo si teacher, nakikinig kayo. Pag meron kayo naiintindihan, nagtatanong kayo. Di ba there is an interaction? There is a socialization? So, we can conclude that social influences on learning. Di ba? Then, number 12, individual differences in learning. So, as we all know, individual differences principle states that no two individuals are the same. Okay, so sabi dito, learners have different strategies, approaches, and capabilities for learning that are a function of prior experience and heredity. So, ano sinasabi lang natin dito? Learners have different strategies. Why? Kasi individual differences principles. No two individuals are the same. So, in other words, class, if you have 50 students, that 50 students or those 50 students have what? Different strategies. Each of their own. Diba? Kanya-kanya sila eh. So, ikaw bilang teacher, ano gagamitin mo pag magtuturo ka? You cannot use a one-size-fits-all strategy. But rather, you're going to use what? Different teaching strategies in order for you to accommodate the different needs, the different types, or the different intelligences of your students. Okay? Then, number 13, learning and diversity. Learning is most effective when differences in learners' linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds are taken into account. Totoo naman yun, di ba? Kasi for example, merong isang taga Mindanao, hindi siya sanay mag-Tagalog, pumunta siya dito sa Bulacan, nagkaklase siya, ikaw Tagalog ka ng Tagalog, hindi mo pala alam, iba pala yung lengguwahe niya. Di ba? O baka naman nagtuturo ka, magluluto ka ng tawag dito, ng tinuguan, o ng tinumis, meron pala dong Iglesia ni Cristo, hindi siya makikinig sa iyo. Hindi ba? So, dapat tinitingnan din natin yung pagkakaiba-iba ng learners natin. Una sa lengguwahe, pangalawa sa kultura, pangatlo sa social background. Yung pwede sabihin, palibasa mga mahihirap, baka doon sa klase mo may mahihirap din. Nasasaktan sila. Kung masasaktan sila, sa tingin mo, makikinig pa sila sa iyo? Hindi na. Diba? So, dapat tinitingnan natin lahat. So, for example, halimbawa, pwede ko bang tawag dito, lahat ay i-required na umattend ng field trip at tapos ang babayaran sa field trip ay 3,000? Hindi. Bakit? Kasi titingnan mo din lahat ba can afford? Baka yung mga remedian can't afford. Kaya sasabihin ko na lang, okay, sino may gusto na lang? Diba? Tinitingnan natin dapat yon. And then the last one, the standards and assessment, setting appropriately high and challenging standards and assessing the learner as well as learning progress, including diagnostic process and outcomes assessment are integral part of the learning process. As you can see, class, may nakita kayong standards. Saan nanggagaling yung standards, class? Ito ay nanggagaling doon sa objectives kasi ito yung dapat ma-accomplish ng bata at the end of the lesson. Paano mo gagawin para makuha yung standard? Magtuturo ka. Diba? Sisiguraduhin mo na yung tinuturo mo ay related doon sa standard. Na magagamit ni bata yung tinuturo mo pagdating sa assessment. Para pag nag-assessment siya, alam mo, masisigurado mo na kayang sagutin ng mga bata yun. In that way, ano ang mangyayari? Because of that assessment, you can conclude na nag-gets yung standard. Nakuha yung standard. So, ito class yung SCP principles. Okay? So, dapat ina-apply natin ito sa pagtuturo. Okay? Andiyan na magre-review of the past lesson tayo. Gagamit tayo ng entry pass. Imo-motivate yung mga estudyante mo. Pag nagtuturo ka, dapat tinitingnan mo yung kanilang kalagayan pinansyal, yung kanilang kalagayan sosyal, yung kanilang pagkakaiba-iba. Tinitingnan din natin dapat yan. Okay? Then, as well, yung alignment ng objectives sa tinuturo mo sa pinapa-assess mo. Alam ko, may mga inexperience kayo, may objective yung teacher, pero out of the context, so out of the content, yung tinuturo, very irrelevant yung tinuturo. Pagdating naman doon sa exam, irrelevant din. So sa dulo, kamusta? Walang na-achieve ng standard. Diba? So dapat, everything is constructively aligned. Okay? Then, how about the definition of childhood and adolescence? Ayan. So nakita niyo naman, di ba yung mga chikiting? Okay. So childhood is defined as the time for a boy or girl from birth until he or she is an adult. Hanggat hindi adult ay isang bata, anong tawag natin doon? Child. Okay? It is the more circumscribed period of time from infancy to the onset of puberty. So mula doon sa infancy, pagkapanganak sa atin, hanggang sa hindi pa nag-start ang puberty, that is the stage of childhood. Okay? Then, according to the conventions on the rights of the child, defines a child as what? Every human being below the age of 18 years under the law applicable to the child, majority is attained earlier. So sabi sa Convention on the Rights of the Child, basta 18 below, pababa, okay, 18 pababa, considered as a child. Pero pag nag-18 ka na, pataas, hindi na. Adolescence ka na nun. Okay, so ito naman yung adolescence, okay, mga binata, dalagindi, okay? So adolescence is the period of transition from childhood to adulthood. Tatlo naman yung pupuntahan natin eh. Pagkabata, hanggang sa pagtanda. Pero yung pinakagitna, bago tayo dumaan sa pagkamatanda, at aalis tayo sa pagkabata ay yung tinatawag nating adolescence. Although sometimes described as beginning in parallel with fertility or puberty, and ending with maturity and independence, adolescence has a very variable and imprecise duration. Okay. So, bakit siya natatawag dito na i-align sa fertility? Kasi yung adolescence kasi, nag-start tayo dito sa puberty stage. Na kung saan nagde-develop yung ating mga reproductive organs. Nagkakaroon na ng, tawag dito, nakakapag-produce na ng egg cell at saka sperm cell ang babae at saka ang lalaki. And as well, sabi nga dito, adolescence has a very variable and imprecise duration. Pag sinabi natin variable and imprecise, it means there is no exact age na magsasabi sa iyo, oy, dang ka sa edad na ang lahat ng lahat ng bata sa buong mundo, pagdating sa edad na 12, lahat ay magkakaregla. Walang ganon. Kaya siya imprecise. It is not accurate. There is no such accurate age na magsasabi na, oh, magdadalaga ka na. Okay. How about the concept of human growth and development? Ayan. Pansinin nyo. Di ba ganyan yung itsura ng buhay natin mula nung tayo pinanganak hanggang sa ating pagtanda. Okay. So, human development, yung pinakita kong picture sa kanya, ito yung tawag doon ay human development, which is the pattern of movement or change that begins at the conception and continues through the lifespan. So, siya na mag-i-start sa conception. When we say conception, it is when the egg cell and the sperm cell meets, life begins. And it continues through the lifespan. So, meaning, mula nung tayo na-create, mula sa single na zygote, mula sa zygote, ay hanggang sa ating pagtanda, may human development na nangyayari sa atin. Kasi yung ating pagtanda ay part pa rin ng human development. Kasi wala namang taong ipinanganak na hindi tumanda. Okay? So, development includes growth and decline. Totoo yun. Kung makikita natin habang tayo bata, nagde-develop tayo. Nagkakaroon ng growth. Pero pag tumatanda tayo, nagde-decline. Bumababa. Why? Yung mga bagay na tayo hindi na natin nagagawa pag tayo tumatanda. Hindi katulad nung tayo ay bata. So, this means that development can be either positive or negative according to Santos 2002. So, let us try to differentiate the concept of growth and the concept of development. So, makita natin sa growth, mula sa isang seed, lumaki ng lumaki. Pagdating sa development, meron siyang mga bagay na ginagawa. So, i-define natin. Okay. So, when we say growth, it means quantitative, measurable. Okay, katulad nito, it can be measured using a ruler, diba? Or a meter stick. So, when we say growth, progresses in chronological age, meaning tumatanda tayo mula 1 year old, 2 years old, hanggang sa 20, 30, 40, 60 years old. And then, yung increase in size natin, height or weight, pagtangkad, pagtaba, paglapad, pagbigat, okay? That's what we call growth kasi it is measurable. Yan ang madaling tandaan sa growth. Quantitative kasi quantity, measurable. Pag sinabi naman natin development, that is qualitative, quality. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo dito, nagpabike, naglilinis ng bahay, nagsasampay, ayan, naglilinis ng basurahan, etc. and all nagpapatahan, di ba? Okay, ito yung tinatawag nating skills. Increase in skills and complexity of function resulting in increased specialization or what we call mastery. Yung nakakapag-add ng 1 plus 1, nakakapagbasa ka na, pwede ka nang utusan sa tindahan o sa palengke, natawag natin yung development or what we call qualitative change kasi that is a mastery. Okay. So, example ng development is the psychological, mental, physical, emotional such as what? Adding numbers. Diba? Okay. So, tandaan natin, development is qualitative while growth is quantitative. Then, tingnan natin. So, ito kasing growth and development, meron fix ito sa isang tao. Lahat tayo meron ito. So, tingnan natin kung paano nangyari si Jenny ay merong quantitative at meron ding qualitative o paano siya nagkaroon ng growth and development. So, when Jenny was 4 years old, she could recall only 3 objects out of a group she has seen a few minutes before. Now, at 7, she can recall 7 objects. Una-una, makita mo yung quantitative. Why? 4 years old, 7 years old. Diba? Asa naman yung qualitative, yung development, recalling. That is a skill, a mastery. Diba? So, sabi dito, her memory has undergone a quantitative change. Why? Kasi, mula sa 3 objects, she can recall now 7 objects. That is measurable. Pero, paano nag-take effect ngayon yung development? Sabi dito, she experienced a qualitative change in memory since she has now begun what? Use such strategies as putting objects she wants to remember in categories to help her recall them. Yung skills na ginagamit niya para mula sa 3 ay magiging 7, that is what we call mastery. That is a skill and that is what we call development. Okay? So, how about maturation and learning? So, makita natin, pag sinabi natin maturation, masasabi natin growth pa rin to. When we say learning, this is more on the development pa rin. Okay? Different terminologies but they have the same concept. Okay. So when we say maturation, generally refers to a natural process of growing up ascribed to heredity. Yung mula pa tatay, tumatangkad, biglang nag-stop. Okay, that is maturation. Based on heredity yon. We cannot alter that. It is a biological process that accounts for age-related changes in growth and development and requires favorable support from the environment to occur. Yung pagkakaroon ng menstruation, part ng maturation yun. Yung hindi tumitigil ang pagtangkad mo, part pa rin ng maturation yun. Yung putiin ng buhok mo, part pa rin ng maturation kasi heredity yun eh. Okay, how about learning? Learning is the aspect of development that connotes modification of behavior that results from practice and experience. So dito sa learning, nandito yung skills o yung mastery o yung development na tinatawag natin. It connotes what? Modification of behavior. Diba? Ito kaya nating i-alter to. Why? Kasi noon na hindi ka sanay magbasa, ngayon natuto ka. Diba? O, there's a modification. Dating ginagawa mo mali, nabago kasi natuto ka eh. Nalaman mo na, mali pala yun. So, hindi ko na ginagawa. So, that's what we call modification. Kaya may sinasabi kung isang bata pumapasok sa klase, pero yung kanyang, tawag dito yung kanyang parang kumbaga nangyari, walang nangyaring pagbabago sa kanya, hindi mo masasabing may learning yung bata kasi learning connotes what changes? Modification. Diba? From bad to good. Diba? From worse to good or from worse to better. Okay, then? So sabi nga dito, growth and development result from an interaction of what? Maturation and learning. Yung ating growth, yung ating height, weight, nakapokus yan sa maturation. Pero yung development natin, nandun yun sa learning. In making the individual what he is at a given time. So hindi mo pwedeng sabihin, ako yung development niya may problema. Hindi. May kasama din yung growth. Kasi sa isang tao, laging may growth and development. Sa isang tao, laging may maturation and learning. So ito, nag-i-interact lang to make us, okay, o to make us, kumbaga, the better person that we could be. Okay, then, how about the aspects of development? So, ito yung mga different aspects of development. Nabanggit ko na kanina to sa LCP principles. Una is the physical development. The changes in the body, brain, sensory capacities, and motor skills. How about intellectual development? The changes in a wide variety of mental abilities, kakayahang kaisipan, okay? Such as yung lating pagkatuto, kung paano tayo nagme-memorya, kung paano tayo nagre-reasoning, nag-iisip, and facility with the language. Kung paano natin, ano-ano mga lingwa yung alam natin na ginagamit natin kapag tayo nakikipag-communicate. Then, how about social development? The unique way in which each person socializes and gets along with others. Di ba? Paano tayo makasalamuha? Sabi nga natin kanina sa social influences of learning, we learn through socialization. And then, we have also the moral development. Is to become gradually aware of the distinction between what is right and what is wrong. Okay, so ito isa sa mga aspeto nating mga tao. Then, the last one is the spiritual development. It's an evolved refinement of the spirit or soul as distinguished from the body or material matters, a consciousness of religion or the church that is what? Held sacred. So ito yung ating paniniwala sa Diyos. Okay.